Hello and welcome to Celtic Down Under, Thursday Sesh. I am tonight's host, Willie, and joining me tonight from Australia is Gerard. How are you doing, Gerard?
I am doing pretty well. Season started. How can you be unhappy?
Well, there is a few ways you can be, but we'll get into that as we go along in the show, no doubt. So tonight we've got a few things we're going to talk about. We'll just briefly recap the St Mirren game. We'll go with transfer rumours, squad requirements, and we'll have a look at the Aberdeen game. So, yeah, we'll go over to you, Gerard. What did you think of the St Mirren game at the weekend? Were you impressed? Were you left a little bit wanting more from it? Or how did it go for you?
All right. Well, impressed is probably not a word I would use. After the first half hour, I started looking at it for what it was, and it was a first game. We didn't play well, and even the players that were playing really well in preseason kind of crapped the bed. Like, Rio looked like he didn't look very good. But here, I was trying to look at the positives. A lot of the things that were happening, passes weren't coming off, but they were trying to make them. And I'm like, okay, so the intent is there to make these little passes that would have been really good if it actually came off. And that will come. So I was like, okay, there's a positive. The thing that annoyed the crap out of me was our, making 18 passes outside the 18-yard box, and then we didn't end up getting an actual... Can you hear the barking? Or is it just me?
No, I can hear that.
Yeah. Oh, Ray, come here. Sorry.
Obviously, somebody wasn't pleased with the performance, right?
No. There's a Rangers fan outside.
That's
the thing that frustrated me the most is we know we don't have a great attack, but we weren't even trying to shoot. We were there was one point where we were just at the end of the 18-yard box, and people were dribbling with 2 yards here, 2 yards here, passing it. And at the end, we didn't even end up getting a shot off. I'm just that's the thing that absolutely, it frustrates the hell out of me. You can't score the chances you don't take. And our attack is just so woeful at the moment. Our midfield, I think, is decent, and they were trying the right things, and it wasn't coming off. But you could see the intent was there, and I'm just like, okay, for game one, I'm going to give them a pass. The intent was there, the execution was a little bit off. So they've got a game or two to prove me right or prove me wrong. And I thought our defense was pretty good. I'm really afraid of the fact that Tierney, we know, is not going to last games, and we didn't even have Inamura on the bench, and we put Scales out there. And I thought Scales, I think, full transparency for people who don't know me, I think Scales should be our backup left centre back, and I think Trusty has earned that spot, and I think both of them done a really good job when they played centre back. But when he went to left, good on him. He done what he was asked, and he done an okay job, but he looked uncomfortable. And that's and going forward, we have no attack. It's quite pathetic, actually.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I mean, for me, we dominated possession of the game, and for all that possession we had, we offered really little up front. And like you say, the team seemed to be trying to score the perfect goal at times instead of just having a proper dig at it from range or whatever. But a couple of positives from the game. I thought AJ was outstanding on the right, but he did have to do both defensive and attacking duties on the right, because I'm afraid Yang offered absolutely nothing for me in the game. I've seen wingers, you get Dyson Maeda, he likes to go direct, and when he's playing on the wing, he likes to aim for that tee or the 18-yard in the byline and get a low cross across, or just try and go direct in that way and get the ball into the box. Whereas you got the likes of Forrest, he'll put a cross in from anywhere. You had Kuhn who would cut inside and try and score. But with Young, I just see a player who picks up the ball, runs 2 or 3 yards forwards, turns around and passes backwards. So I just don't see much from that guy. But I thought the new guy, Nygren, did okay. Some of his deliveries from corners were a little bit suspect at times. He was floating a lot of the high ones in. It was just like, oh, what's going on with this? But he wasn't too bad. But on the left, I do like what I saw there, the link up between Maeda and Tierney. It's very early days, but I think as we start moving forward and getting into our stride, that's going to be something that could be pivotal to our attacking output. But I was really impressed with that. And again, old Ron Robertson showed me that Scottish refs are, if nothing else, consistent at being absolutely shite. Oh, we passed the 5 minute mark. Sneaked that one straight in there, right? So, anything else you want to add on that?
No, as you said, this is something I thought of and haven't been on here since, but I think Tierney is the perfect left back for Maeda. Like, if anyone's listened to me over the last couple of years, I've always said Maeda's an excellent football player. He's an excellent defender. He's an excellent athlete, and he's excellent in between the posts as a striker. He's horrible at the left wing. Like, that's his weak spot. And when you had Greg Taylor inverting, that he was kept out in the left wing, all that sort of stuff. Now, with Tierney can go to the byline. Tierney can go down and make crosses, and Tierney's crosses are phenomenal. I don't think we've had someone who can put those crosses in like Tierney since this guy named Kieran Tierney several years ago. And that means we've got Maeda who can push into the middle where he's actually really good, and he can come back and help on defense. And so to me, that's the most exciting part is Maeda is going to get better because Tierney is on the left instead of an inverted winger, because the inverted fullback with Maeda, keeping Maeda out to the left, that's Maeda needs to be in the middle. That's his strength. So that's something I'm excited for. And on the other side, I think Yang is better than that, but there was a huge difference when Forrest came on. Forrest needs to start, and we know he's not meant to be a starter, but at the moment, this is where we're at. This is where the team is. He needs to be playing the 60 minutes, and Yang coming off the bench, because we were completely different when he came on.
Yeah, we were, but it's really telling of the squad at this moment in time when you're relying on both Young and James Forrest on the right. I don't have an issue with James Forrest being a super sub and coming on with 20 minutes to go and trying to be a bit direct and run at players who are tired. And even Young, he might be better as an impact player, like you say, when players are tiring after trying to dig in for the whole game and they've just ran themselves into the ground. You can throw someone like Young on, he might get a bit more direct with him, but he's not a Celtic starter for me. And it's one of the positions we really need to be addressing fast, because we've only got another 20 days left before the window closes. Is it 20? No. 20 days, about that. 23 days and the window closes. So just a quick shout out to all the people who are listening in. Smell Glad Jared is not on holiday. He's away on a business trip. Apparently he's handing over his tiara to whoever Tillio's going on loan to, podcasting people in person. So he'll be back next week on Monday to speak to us all again. Any questions you guys have for us, just let us know. And if I get the chance to read them, because I'm not very good at this multitasking or hosting, as you can probably tell, we'll try and get them read out. We've blocked a wee Glasgow Rangers fan who's decided to make his way into our comment section. So thanks for your participation, and see you later. So we'll move on now from the game. We'll go to the transfer rumours. I had a wee look on some of the websites. There's a couple of names floating around now. I'll start off with Stefan Bajetic of Liverpool. He's a 20-year-old centre defensive midfielder. He's played 11 appearances and 1 goal for Liverpool in the 22-23 season. Last season, he was on loan. In the first half of the season, he was at Salzburg. And in the second half of the season, he went to Las Palmas, where he played 14 games and scored 1 goal. He's certainly a hot prospect. He's a central defensive midfielder. He may have the required levels for us. I would say it's one that would certainly interest me, because it is a position we have said central defensive midfielder is one that we need to strengthen. Any thoughts on that one, Jared?
Yeah, I couldn't care less about another midfielder at the moment.
Yeah.
This is wait to the end. Like, I've also seen rumours about us getting more defenders in. I'm just like, okay, no, we need a striker and wingers. Like, I don't want to hear about anyone else until we get that in. That is our area of need. I think our midfield at the moment is the strongest we've had in quite a while once they actually gel. I mean, we've got like Bernardo as like a 5th or 6th string. He should be starting in every other Scottish Premier League team and English champion. Like, we've got this is a very deep, strong midfield, but it's useless when we can't go forward. And all I'm hearing midfielders are defenders. I was like, okay, we've got the lone guy. Cool, that's good. I want attacker. We need a replacement for Kuhn, and I don't understand all the other BS that's coming with it. Like, we literally have spent under £3 million this year. Like, we brought in 22. I saw the numbers. I haven't added it up. So, and I'm not good at math, but I'm pretty sure we 22 when you and we'll spend 3. And every time I see a rumor, it's like, oh, we've been denied because they wanted 3 and we offered 2. I'm like, are you serious? Like, could you imagine, like, last year, instead of paying 9 million for Ida, we have paid 6.5 to 7 for Griesgarden, but we didn't want to pay it, and now we're stuck with Ida, and now Griesgarden is now 11, and we're like, oh, we don't want to pay that. Like, I'm overhearing about midfielders and defenders.
It's really infuriating. You probably might want to tune out for the next couple of names that's on the list, because there doesn't seem to be many strikers getting linked at this moment in time. So there's another guy, Richard.
That's what I'm saying. That's all I've been hearing as well.
Yeah, Richard Coney he's a 6-foot striker from Wycombe Wanderers, but he's not really contributed much to their team. He's definitely. They say he's a player whose presence will be felt on the pitch, but he's not really shown much promise with goals or that. And Wycombe Wanderers is not very high level of football, so it's not really an awe-inspiring sort of signing. There's another couple of strikers. I think it's Giuseppe Ambrosino in Napoli, and again another young striker, no real first-team experience. There's Luis Montaigne, whose club escapes me at this moment in time, but he's a Romanian. I think it's Cluj. Sorry. He's a Romanian striker, but again, he's another one who's coming through the ranks, and he's just starting to break into first-team football. That's not really what we're looking for. I suppose the 2 names from this list to have is Bajetic and, of course, Josh Brownhill, who plays for Bristol. But again, he's another central midfield player. He played 42 times and scored 18 goals in the 24-25 season for Burnley. Decent record, got goals in there, but again, it's central midfield. We're really top heavy in that department. So there is link with strikers there, but there's nothing on the wings. I don't see any wingers mentioned in there. I mean, Balakawisha's name's still floating around, but I think that one's dead and buried now. I think it's just all so quiet. I can't see it happening unless we're going to turn up on the 31st of August and fire in a £15 million bid for him because we've just waited too long, and all of a sudden we need a winger and we have to pay that kind of money for him. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Is there any names that I haven't mentioned that you've heard of, Jared?
Just that guy from Eagles, Braham. I can't remember his name. Yeah. Apparently we offered 2 million or something for him, and they wanted 6. I don't actually pay attention. I just flick through. So I wasn't paying much attention until they're like signed. I'm just like, I do not care. But it is disturbing that most of the stuff we see in Rumours are defenders and midfielders, and it's like, yeah, cool, bring in another midfielder, and then how are they going to help the bench? Like a defensive midfielder, I think it was Andrew Galea. It's like, keeps any defensive midfielder on the bench. So why would we bring in a good defensive midfielder to sit on the bench, and then when Calmack does get a rest, Engels and Bernardo do a pretty decent job in replacement for him. Like, you're not going to bring in someone who's going to cost a lot of money to do that kind of backup.
Yeah.
If we keep looking at midfielders, it makes me think we're selling Hatate.
Yeah.
But then you haven't had any rumors.
I think, I don't know, I would hope we're not going to be selling anymore. The one that gives me the biggest fear is Maeda, because we've sold your beloved Kuhn, and I think that's the transfer, that's the kind of level of recoup they look for every season, and I think that kind of gives me hope that nobody else will be sold during this window, but you never know with this board. So that kind of leads us on. So what Andrew Galea is saying here, is there a civil war in the background brewing between the board and Brendan Rodgers? I'll let you have a wee minute or two on this one, or do you want me to go first? Because I've got a few thoughts on this. So what do you think, mate?
If you've got thoughts, go for it. And I don't really care.
I watched.
On you go. I'll give my thoughts after.
I watched the manager's interview before the St Johnstone game, and I was actually quite alarmed by what I was watching and some of the things he was saying. He's sitting there talking about he's not there to maintain the squad. He's fired serious shots across the bow of the board, and if the board do not act and give him what he wants, there's a good chance. And this was like, normally at the start of the season we do fearless predictions. My fearless prediction for this season is we could end up this season with John Kennedy and Sean Maloney taking the team over the line for the title, because if this carries on the way it's going, I have a funny feeling Brendan Rodgers might not see the end of the season. Will he get past the January window if they don't back him in there? If they promise it, like, okay, it didn't work this window, and we'll back you in the January window, and don't back him there, he definitely won't stay. But at this moment in time, I think Brendan Rodgers is sitting there, and he's fired his shots, and the board really need to sort of sit up, take notice, and go out and get him what he wants, because he is, in that interview, he also intimated that he would be prepared to sign a new deal if the board were going to back him and his vision for the way to move forward. But there's no signs of the board doing that. The board have hunkered down. They've shut shop. They're not interested in spending any more money. And it looks to me like the board are quite happy and content for Brendan Rodgers to see out this season and be on his merry way, and they'll start again. And that's could be the reason why they're keeping the money. They don't want to put out a big outlay this season to have to put out, because usually when a new manager comes in, you need a big outlay for them to try and sort of work their vision into the club. So for me, there's definitely something going on in the background there. And I think whether it's Nicholson and Lawwell, who are at loggerheads with Rodgers, I think it's time for Mr. Dermot Desmond. I keep getting the two names mixed up. I always forget which one's first and which one's second. It's time for Dermot Desmond to come back and take charge and do what he's supposed to be doing as the owner of the club. I'll pass over to you, mate, see what you think.
Right. So I am 100% sure, and you can put me on record, Rodgers will finish the season. Whether he signs another contract after, I don't know. But one thing with Rodgers is, yes, he has a goal, and he said we need to keep moving forward. If we're just going to be static, then he's not the right manager. But he also said, and he keeps emphasizing, he signed for a minimum 3 seasons. And after last time when he left, and I don't think he's going to want to leave and be an enemy of Celtic, because he's not coming back after he leaves this time. So he'll want to leave on his own terms and an end of a contract rather than fuck you guys, because it might be fuck the board, but if he leaves halfway through the season, he knows what he's doing to the team and he knows what he's doing to the fans, and he won't do that. So he will be here to the end of the season no matter what. The only problem is he going to have the same sort of motivation if he doesn't get what he wants? But also, the thing with Rodgers, and people are going to get the shits with me about this, is like he has his favorites. Like we said, Scales. He started Scales. Like, we brought on Trusty, and Trusty got man of the match for a game that he started, and then hasn't started a game since. He hasn't done anything wrong since. Like, Scales has done okay, but Scales got very quick, he got very good very quickly, and then has plateaued and hasn't done anything since. He's still at that sort of level, which is really good for a backup centre-back for Celtic. Trusty has got to that level, but Trusty has seemed to have went up another step in pre-season, and he got the toughness, and you could see it. And I think he's a little bit better, and he brings speed and height and a little bit more strength to go alongside CCV, but he still keeps putting Scales in front. And then you've got Ida. Like, for me, I thought Kenny was our best striker all preseason, and I was like, I'm not going to write off Ida because I believed in Ida. I wanted Ida to come back last time, and he came back. But then in the game that I saw, I'm just like there's things you can control, and there's things you can't control. And he didn't have the effort. Like, when the balls were coming in, like, he should have been creaming his pants when he was playing with Tierney, because he's finally getting balls in, he's getting crosses in, he's getting this, and he was still kind of standoffish, and he wasn't in the right spots, and he wasn't making moves, and it felt. And the sad thing is, he ended up bringing in Kenny, but it's like Kenny's meant to be going out on loan. He's meant to be we got 4 strikers now, and Kenny's meant to be the one that's going out on loan. Shin Yamada, we don't know. Osmond, or what the hell his name is, we have no idea. We can't judge them at all. But what we know is, at the moment, Ida, not it. Kenny has been doing well. Like, Shin Yamada is the guy that I'm hanging my hat on, going, this is going to be the guy. This is going to be the striker. Because we can't bring another freaking striker. We got freaking 4 of them for 2 positions. Because this is what Roger said. He has 2 strikers and then a young person. So someone's going, which we all think is going to be Kenny, which Kenny, on form, is currently our best striker, because 2 of them we haven't seen enough of. We haven't done anything. Ida costs a lot of money, but to me, every time he plays, even if I want him to do well, it's not turning up on the field.
Yeah, there's no real getting away from that at the moment. I mean, I really want Ida to do well, but it's just not working for him. And he did score a few goals last season, and the confidence level wasn't there. And we did say, look, he needs a pre-season under his belt, and there's rumours he came into the season injured. And he got his 20 goals, but it was fits and starts. And like you say, this season, pre-season, it hasn't gone well for him, and his head's down again. You know what I mean? That's not where you want to be going into the new season. You want to be coming into the new season with your confidence high, having played lesser opposition in pre-season friendlies and got a couple of goals here and there. Doesn't seem to be working for Big Ida at the moment. I hope he does turn it around, but there's the there's a lot of fans now are really starting to question him, and obviously Norwich have massive windows on their boardroom and saw us coming when they put the 9 million price tag on him. I don't understand how anyone would pay that for him. But like you say, Shinya Mada's there too. I mean, we've all got that Kyogo-shaped hole in our hearts right now, and hopefully he will be the one to fill that. Like, because I really miss wee Kyogo. I know what you all know. I'm a big fan of him. So hopefully he might be able to come on the game, but didn't get a sniff at the weekend. Like, so it's there's a lot of work to do in that squad, and as you say, 4 strikers. You wouldn't really hang your hat on any of them at this moment in time to be your number one choice for the rest of the season, which is really concerning for Celtic. I don't know where to go with this. I mean, you look at the wings, we're really struggling at creativity in the wings. We've got Maeda, but he's direct and he's a nailed-on number one, but there's nobody really to back him up. We're desperate for Jota to come back, but that won't be till probably January sort of time. We've lost Kuhn. The whole front line of the Celtic squad at this moment in time, I mean, Maeda aside, it doesn't look great on paper. Like, so I don't know. It's really concerning for me. Well, but the people in the comments,
if we change shape?
Well, you could do that. A lot of the guys on here are talking about shifting to a 3-5-2. I'm not really a fan of the 3-5-2. If it was for me, because I don't know. You probably know where I'm going to go with this. I'm going to shift for a Christmas tree again. I said tree. That, and yeah, the Rodgers first season came in and we struggled in the wide areas, and I kind of said, take your 4-3-3 and pull the wingers in and play 2 number 10s in behind a striker, and have 3 number 8s in behind that, and use your fullbacks for the width, but. He'll not shift from the 4-3-3. If he's going to shift from the 4-3-3, for me, he'll probably move to a 4-2-3-1, where he would play Engels and Kalmar as a double pivot. But again, with the 4-2-3-1, you can bring your wide men in slightly and use the fullbacks for more width as well. But I don't really see any signs of him, because he could have done that in the opening game of the season. He could have trialled that knowing he had the lack of width in the squad. He could have tried that out, unless he's trying to send a message to the board, look, this is the formation I want to play. I don't have the players to do it, and this is the result of me not having the players to play this kind of formation. There are ways you could subtly tweak the 4-3-3, like I say, the Christmas tree, or shift it to a 4-2-3-1. And as some of the other guys have said, let's shift to a 3-5-2. There are ways you can do it. What do you think, Graham?
I like the formation we've got, but it doesn't fit with the players we've got. Like, at the moment, we're playing Yang, who's a backup, starting when we have players like Engels and Bernardo and McCowan are all on the bench. Whereas if we just changed formation, we could take Yang off, and we could, like you said, if we play a 4-2-3-1. Then yeah, we can't, like Engels, like we know Engels is amazing next to Kalmak in that like holding role. Like that's like he got us a point against Atalanta or something when we changed and we put him in that position. And then we've got 3 in front. Like you've got Nygren, who's played in the wide areas. Like if you have Nygren on the right, Maeda on the left, and Hatate in the middle, that is 3, like, I think I'm talking myself into this now, actually. The more I think about it, it seems like it makes more sense.
Yeah.
Like, for the players we've got. We don't have wingers.
No, we don't. There is options there, but I don't think I just can't see them shifting. You know what I mean? We seem to stick to the 4-3-3. When Rodgers first came back, I thought, well, that's it. We'll go to a 4-2-3-1 again. And I was kind of hoping we would go, because I quite like the 4-2-3-1. It's probably the most used formation across the continent at this moment in time. Every time you look at other teams who are going to play in Europe, they play some sort of variation of the 4-2-3-1. And I did kind of think when Rodgers came back, that's it, we'll go straight back to that. But no, he carried on with the 4-3-3, which was what Ange implemented. I mean, yes, he did play 3-5-2 at Leicester from time to time, but again, he seems to stick to the 4-3-3 at the moment, so I can't really see him shifting from it. But
well, I thought he was only sticking to Ange's formation because he took Ange's players and wanted to, instead of having a dramatic change, he wanted to slowly implement his, in which he nailed. Like, he done a really good job of it, but now it's like, okay, well, you don't have the players to keep doing that. So why is he sticking with the same system that Ange was playing? Why isn't he going to that? Like, yeah, Negrin, like, put him at right wing. Like, could you imagine, like those three, like Negrin, not Kyoto, Rio, and like I would even in this system I'd put Maida up in the one in the striker and put someone else on the left. And that's the thing that annoys, it's so crap as well, is like we've got Tierney. Tierney could play up in that left midfield, left wing. But the thing is, apparently we got a backup left back and he's doing a really good job, but he can't even make the bench.
I know that was concerning. Watching Tierney, I didn't think Tierney would last the full 90 minutes. And as soon as Tierney, the physio went onto the pitch, I said, oh, that's Tierney off. So who's going to left back? And you quickly look at the squad and go, oh, that guy's not on the bench. So straight away you're thinking, well, that's Scales going over to left back and Trusty coming in at left centre half. I mean, it's not good for one player to be shifting position in the pitch. I mean, you probably can do it quite easy enough, like, but if Liam Scales wants to focus his career as a centre back, then that's fair enough. And shifting him from centre back to full back, it's a change, you know what I mean? And is that the sort of change that Liam Scales is going to be able to adapt to in game? And maybe he's been training for it and coached it. Hopefully he has been, but you would prefer to have a proper left back ready to replace a left back, somebody who knows exactly what his role is.
Well, the bad
again,
thing
like on you go.
The bad thing about Scales going to left back is we've just been talking about our weakness. It's going forward. When Scales went to left back, our defense got better. Like, we were really good against crosses. Like, you could see him and Trusty communicating. He's like, I've got this person, you go here. And they were really good at clearing those corners and things like that. But he's terrible going forward from left back. And that's the issue. It's like, if we're ahead and we want to bring him back, then great, because our defense is now better. But our going forward, he was questioning himself. He was dribbling back and forth in front of someone, and it was like, what's going to happen? And that's the issue. Is we're not good going forward. If he's going to end up becoming our left back when we need him, then guess what? We've just made ourselves way worse going forward. They're not even going to bother covering the left-hand side. They're just going to be like, oh, well, let's go over here.
Yeah, so if you go over there, then you're having to shift out onto right, which plays into Andrew Galea's question there, which he's asking us, what do you think about AJ playing in the Taylor inverted role, Willie? Well, it's something he's... I didn't really see him do too much of it at the weekend. I might have missed that, but for me, he seemed to be doing everything on that right-hand side. He seemed to be having to do the right back. And then he was up in the right wing trying to do the attacking. So as the season goes on, I don't think it's something I wouldn't say he's not comfortable. I think he could do it, but it was Greg Taylor's forte was to drift into the middle and create a double pivot with Callum in front of him. And then sometimes Callum could move further out with Greg Taylor sitting in the holding midfielder role. Whereas that left AJ with more time and space on his side of the pitch. It's something that we're as the season goes, I'm not sure how it's going to work out, but something as the season goes, we're going to have to watch and see which one of them is going to be coming in. Is it going to be a case that if Tierney bombs on, AJ shifts in, and then when Tierney comes back, if the play's going to come out on the right side, is Tierney going to move in? It's something that we just need to keep an eye on to see how it works out, because I would say he'd be able to handle it, but because he's a good defender and he can attack too, so I think he could do it. But what is it like to say? It's something we'll just have to keep an eye on. That. What do you think?
We need it though? I mean, the inverted midfielder thing, it was an Ange thing. We didn't have inverted midfielders before that, and it was more Taylor on the left. But like we said, that, I don't think it suited Maida's game as much. I think Tierney's game much more suits Maida's game without the inverting. So Like Maeda can come back and come through the middle and press and it's like, well, do we have to go to the other side? Like they were working. Like the last time we saw AJ and Yang play, like they were starting to pick it up. And as much as people hate Yang, when you look at where Yang was to where Yang is now, he's probably the most improved player over the last couple of years. Still not where he needs to be. But when you look at where he was horrendous. Like he probably wouldn't even make the B team. So he's improved dramatically. And by the end of last year, like him and AJ were actually playing pretty well. And so like that's the thing. That now you start changing that. It's like, why? Like, do you really, really need to? Brendan, he needs to just play his players and play them in their strengths. Hide their weaknesses and emphasize their strengths.
Well, that's another reason I think, Andrew, that, and you, Jared, I'm just going to say the 4-2-3-1 would come into that because that would allow both fullbacks to bomb on. That would still give you a five up front press, and you'd have two holding in behind that. Like, you know what I mean? It is because you would play a double pivot, and that negates the need for one person to invert, one of the fullbacks to invert, because you will always have that double pivot ready to move either side of the pitch should a break come on down one side if you get caught. So that's why I keep thinking the 4-2-3-1 is something that Rodgers would be looking to play with the types of fullbacks that he has now in Tierney and AJ, because they are more direct. They would rather just stick to their side of the pitch and get up and down. You know what I mean? Yeah,
no, I agree. I look at the players we've got. I look at the players we've got in positions, and you look at the players in the positions. And right now, we don't fit a 4-3-3 or we have no wingers, and even our left and right backs, left wings or whatever you want to call them. They're not those they want to go up and down the sideline. And they're really good at it. Tierney is one the best left back Scotland has probably seen in fucking decades. AJ was the right back of the last, what was it, the Kafa Cup or whatever, on that team with Messi, and they're not bad. We've got good players.
Yeah. But we seem to be, like I said earlier, we seem to be playing a formation that doesn't suit the players we have. And whether it's a message being sent to the board that I need players in to be able to affect the formation I want to play, or we just shift to a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-2-1, whichever it would be. But I think that's got my blood pressure risen a bit there. That was it's frustrating as anything this at the moment in time. It's just this is a new season. We should be full of all the joys of life and optimism, and we should have been sitting there saying, look at that transfer window we've had. We're ready for the Champions League qualifier, but no, we're not. And it's the same old game from the board. Every time we have a Champions League qualifier, it's like, well, if you win that game, I'll go out and buy all the players you want. That's not how it should be. It should be, we need to win this game to get the riches of the Champions League. What do you need in order for us to win this game? But it's just so backward. You know what I mean? This board is so regressive. It's unbelievable.
It's also one of the things that annoys me about everything Celtic and Celtic fans. Sorry, but everyone was bagging on Kun. And I'm bringing up Kun again, yes. And he wasn't good at the end of the season, blah, blah, blah. It's but everyone's Scotland isn't our focus. We're going to win that. Our focus is Champions League. Guess who our best player was for a Champions League football? It was Kun. And then guess what? He's gone. And everyone's like, oh, well, he wasn't good enough. He wasn't good enough. Let's get someone else in. It's well, what are you actually asking for? You kept saying our focus shouldn't be for Scotland because we've got that locked down. We need to be going forward, and we need to be going and getting players for Champions League. And then we got one, and he's gone. And everyone was like, well, he wasn't very good. No, he was.
He was
what
good.
He was brought in for.
Right. He was good. I mean, the rumours was January there was bids in for him, and he wasn't too happy that the bids were knocked back. We wanted to keep him and that, and his form dipped because of that. But he still produced massive numbers, brilliant numbers for a season. And I when they told me he was getting sold, I was a bit worried about you. I thought we were going to find our Jared in a K-hole somewhere, just depressed as anything, just not able to get out of it until he sees photos of Jota back on the training pitch. But again, if you know, right, January, there's been bids for me. I want to go to this club. No, we need to keep you. We need you for the rest of the season. Okay, when the close season comes, I want away. Fine. And then Como comes in, 17 million bid. Okay, you're off. See you later. Where's the replacement? You've known since January. Where's the replacement? You know what I mean? It was the same. Joe Hart, January, a couple of seasons ago, I'm retiring. Was it not last season, but the season before? January, that's it. This is my last season in football. I'm retiring. I've had enough. I just can't go on anymore. I need to focus on me and the family. Season goes on. Season finishes. Who's the replacement? We better phone somebody. Brendan, do you know anyone? So Brendan gets out the old contact list and gets in Casper. Okay, we want to watch in that one, but there wasn't really much homework done in that. There was no forward thinking or progressive planning from the board, and it's just so infuriating.
So I've got a question for you. While we're talking about Brendan and possibly leaving at the end of the season, if Brendan leaves, who would be your number one pick to replace him at the end of the season?
Mine.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Knutson. I think he could be one. I don't think we'll get him, but there is another manager who I think we should be looking at. His name's Carlos Corberán. He was at West Bromwich Albion and he went to Villarreal, and I think he plays the kind of football we would like, and I think he's a manager we should be maybe keeping an eye on. But if Brendan Rodgers leaves at the end of the season, knowing this board, it'll be Sean Maloney with John Kennedy as his assistant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually literally have a screen up here with Knutson as my replacement as well. And then I saw people say Ange. I'm like, Ange would probably be my second choice, but I feel like Knutson is Ange, but with a second gear. Ange is all go. Yeah. At least Knutson can just bring it back when he needs to. But
Knutson is definitely one that would, if we got him, I would be okay with. Like, you know what I mean? I'd be over the moon with it. Right? So Knutson for you too. I thought you were laughing, thinking, "Oh Jesus, he's probably going to fucking Ajax or Man United," and I've just made a cunt.
No, he's been my first choice since Ange left, and it hasn't changed.
Listen, Brendan Rodgers is a top quality manager, but clearly it's not working between him and the board right now. And the board clearly don't. For me, this is my opinion. Clearly the board aren't impressed with Brendan Rodgers, and clearly the Lawwells and the Nicholsons of this world don't want Brendan Rodgers at Celtic. And if they did want him at Celtic, they would be backing him to the hilt right now. But right now we're just getting radio silence.
Yep. And it's worrying me about coming up against Rangers. Like, Rangers have got better this season. We have, like, it feels like we've improved a little bit on defense and midfield, but we've absolutely gone to crap up front. And then the way that Brendan Rodgers is playing is kind of also weakening our midfield and defense that actually seem to have got better player-wise. And so it's like, can we get motivated? Is Rodgers going to be able to like is there going to be a clash, or can he go, okay, this is what I've got? Can I just go, I'm going to do the best what I can with the players we've got? And I know he probably doesn't want to because he wants more players in, but from our point of view, it's like, well, just win. Like, just be better, be less shit.
Yeah. Okay then. My blood pressure's risen a bit. I'm going to try and bring it down a little bit here. So we'll move on from this subject before I end up smashing this computer screen in rage. So we'll move on to the squad. Not the squad, sorry, the game against Aberdeen at the weekend. Have you any thoughts on how we're going to go with this one?
I'm pretty the only game I didn't watch on the weekend was the Hearts Aberdeen match, and they lost 2-0. I know one thing I know for sure is Calmac is going to be up for this game, and probably AJ. This is going to be a revenge game for them, but it's I don't know what Aberdeen we're going to be playing. Aberdeen came firing out the blocks last season, went to absolute crap, then beat us in the in the final. But also they didn't actually look that good in the final. It's really going to be up to us. And the sad thing is, we don't have an attack, and that was the problem. Is they managed to keep us from scoring, and that's what got them to the penalty shootouts. Is they kept us from scoring, didn't have to really do a lot, weren't very good, and I'm pretty sure I remember their manager came out after going, "Oh, we've now got the blueprint from how to beat Celtic," and I was like, "Fuck off, you wanker! You guys were awful. We should be better, and we should be beating them more than 2-0. But I'm just at the moment, I think we can keep them to 0. I just don't know where our goals are going to come from. Maybe Knutson, not Knutson. That's the manager. Nygren.
Yeah.
Nygren, and I think also here's another thing for Aberdeen. I think McCowan should be starting. And people are going to disagree with me. Hatate didn't play well. It was passing the ball, everything was very loose. What we need is people who are just going, you miss every shot you don't take. And we didn't take a lot of shots. You know who took shots?
Yeah.
Nygren and McGowan and McGregor. They were the only ones that were actually really taking the shots. So that's the three midfielders I would go with.
Yeah. I slightly differ from you. I would go with the midfield of last season. I would go with Calmac, Hatate and Engels, and I would play Nygren in the wing. I would leave Kuhn on the bench. Not Kuhn. I wish Kuhn was on the bench. I would leave we're all falling apart now on this show. Jared's on that flight, just watching. He's paid for Wi-Fi. He's watching. He's about to start smashing the seat in front of him. I would keep McCowan on the bench in case we do need a late goal and get him on there when players are tiring, like you say. But I would play Hatate from the start because he does have that little bit of special about him. When they're sitting there playing a wee low block, he has that. Sometimes has that vision for a pass that nobody else sees. And yeah, depending on who they play up front. I mean, if they play Ida up front, he might be able to pick him out. Whether Ida can finish it or not remains to be seen. But Aberdeen, they always play the 4-2-3-1. It's been the hot topic of the show tonight. It's been mentioned more times than anything else, I think. But they have made a few. They have actually gone out and made this is just bad. This makes me even feel even worse. I was going to change the subject to try and get my blood pressure down, but Aberdeen have made 6 or 7 signings in the post-season. That's how we can't manage to do that, and they can. So they've got the boy. Is it Teti Yengi's brother? I don't know his first name, but they've got the other Yengi. So we're gonna. Yeah, he's good. They've got Yengi up front, and next week when we play Livingston, the week after that, we'll face another Yengi up front as well. But Nesbitt's away back to Millwall, and Yengi's up front. They've got the winger. Is it Milanovic? He played well against Hearts, but he's a bit of an unknown quantity. But they've got, for me, one of their best players is Mitov in goal. He is a really good goalkeeper. He's hard to beat. He pulls off some really good saves. He's good. He's comfortable with the ball at his feet, and he's going to be difficult to beat. And it's in Pittodrie, so always a difficult venue to go to. I don't really see too many changes on our side. I would defence. I would probably keep the same: Casper, AJ, CCV, Scales, and KT. Like I say, the midfield three for me would be Calmac, Engels, and Hatate. of pushing Gren onto one wing, Maida on the other, and I would keep Ida up front. So I don't want. I think he's quite fragile confidence-wise, and if you drop him for a game like this, you might just completely destroy it. So for me, score predictions, I'm going for a tight 2-1 win on this one, and I think the goals will come from Gren and Maida.
All right, so you've changed my mind. I also agree that Nygren should play right wing. But I would start McGowan. Like, there was a huge difference in the midfield when he came on. He was more direct, and if you have him on that right midfield with Nygren and Alistair Johnson, I think that's going to be a very dangerous right-hand side attack, which is going to leave the other side open for Maida to make runs. It's going to leave it open for Tierney to clear up and also get crosses back in. And I know it's not going to happen, but I'm going to be on this. I would start Trusty over Scales because he is faster. Their attack is very counter-attack, and they run down the field, and Scales he scares the crap out of me when that happens, because all he does is reach out and pulls and grabs, and then he always ends up on the floor. But yeah, same. Apart from that, exactly the same backfield. Johnson, CCV, Trusty, Tierney, and then I would go with McGregor, Hattati, and McCowan, and then I'd go Nygren, Ida, and Maida. Like, I would love one of the other forwards to start to see what they could do, but the fact is, we don't know what they can do. They'll get no game time. We can't just start them in a game like this where we lost to a team in a final last year. So we have to start with Ida. But I think when you've got Tierney on one side and if you've got Nygren on the other side, getting balls into him, I think Ida will be a little bit better. But I also agree with Andrew Galea. We probably won't see any fucking changes no matter what. And this is my problem with Brendan Rodgers.
Yeah. What's your score prediction then, mate?
1-0.
Goal scorer?
Nygren.
Okay.
I would say McCowan, but I don't think McCowan will end up starting. If he does start and my lineup happens, I'll be like, let's go McCowan, but I'm going to go Nygren.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's been the first Thursday Sesh of the season. I'm now blood pumping, raging at the board, baying for blood here. I don't know about Gerard, so we'll pass you over to your final thought, Gerard.
Oh, my final thought. Look, there's only one thought I've got right now, and it's just like, it's probably the same as you. We need to sign a winger or striker. And I know our final thought is normally something other than football, but after all this talk, it's annoying the shit out of me. And you know what? I think it's going to happen. We are going to get someone in, and it's all going to be okay. We're going to get people in, and it's going to be okay. But hurry the fuck up. Namaste.
Namaste, yeah. Final thought from me is, if you're wearing a red hat still, he's on the list and you're in a cult. That's been the Thursday Sesh. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in, and sorry if I didn't read out all your comments, but see you all next week. Hail, hail.